years. Did we cover that? I wasn't at that meeting.
All right. Right now I got me, Steve Kaufman, Sean Zumbrum. How you doing, Sean?
I'm great. How are you?
And I got Justin Miller.
Abelard!
That guy. We were actually just talking about dog names. Is it okay to name your dog a human name?
Sandy, come here. I need you. Sandy.
George, put the dog down.
And he wonders why I turned his microphone down.
George, put the dog down.
No, but
That's
seriously,
actually good.
it needs to be like Reese's or like Dodger. Or it can't be. Hey,
Sparky.
Steve. Steve. No biting, Steve.
Alan.
Alan. Will somebody please take Steve out?
God damn it, Steve pissed on the floor again.
He shit on the carpet.
All right, we've already sworn way too much.
Someone shit on the coats.
So, I concur. Dog names should be dog names.
Yes.
Like, so, Kate and
not
I
specific.
were going to look to adopt a dog that she found on something. It was like Instagram. Apparently, they're selling dogs on Instagram now.
Nice.
And the dog, it was a husky mixed with a yellow lab. It was a really
want a
cute
husky.
thing. It was
Yeah.
predominantly
Husky.
yellow lab. And
Oh, so it'd be cool like a husky, but not batshit crazy.
well, I mean, labs are pretty crazy.
What color
too.
was it?
It
looked like
it
a husky.
looked like a yellow lab.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The thing is, the dog's name was June. I was like, June for a
can't
dog?
be that nice,
I was like,
yeah.
it's got white feet. I'm like, let's call it Socks. And my wife's like, no, can't do Socks. But it has socks on its feet. She's like, that's a cat name. I'm like, okay, maybe.
How old is it though? I mean,
It has a puppy.
so it's got a name technically, but you're going to name it whatever. You don't
actually-
have to buy it and keep that name.
Exactly. But, I mean, the name was Judy, not June. Judy.
Judy's worse.
Judy's is worse.
Judy's way worse.
I'm going to get a dog named Carl.
If you buy that dog, you have to give her a name. Give her a job as a secretary somewhere, because Judy's always a secretary.
Exactly. So, I came up with a good one the other day for a dog name. Did you guys watch that movie Highwaymen?
Snickle Fritz.
No, Snickle Fritz.
That's not anything.
Yeah,
You ever watch Pineapple Express?
of course.
It's the name of the.
Snickle Fritz.
That's one of the weed strands that he sells. He doesn't get Pineapple Express. He gets the Snickle Fritz.
He gets the Snickle Fritz. Oh,
Swag.
okay. The Highwaymen just came out on Netflix. Do you guys have Netflix?
Yeah, I didn't see that though. I saw it advertised. I didn't
Did you watch it?
It's
I didn't
good.
watch
It's
it.
pretty good.
Yeah?
So it's about Bonnie and Clyde,
Yes.
and they got jacked up by the cops, man. Like, they set them up. I didn't know this is how they died, but they pretty much just lit them up. They pulled, like, over 50 bullets out of each of their bodies. And the movie was pretty good, but he calls him, like, man, now I'm going to have to Google the name.
I was wondering where the story's going.
Who calls who what? Because Woody Allen's in it.
No, not Woody. Woody Harrelson.
Harrelson.
Woody
Who's Woody
Harrelson.
Who the fuck is that?
He's definitely dead.
Woody Harrelson and what? Kevin Costner, right?
Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
I love Kevin Costner. And he calls him, I think it was like, I'm looking it up here. Oh, they're coming out of the movie Midway. Hopefully that's good.
Woody Allen is not dead. I apologize, Woody.
Who is Woody Allen?
How old is
He's
Woody
a,
Allen?
He's a director.
How old is he?
producer. He was born in 1940,
No.
so he's older.
All right, his name's Frank Hammer, but he calls him like,
Frank Hammer.
he calls him,
Foreign name.
yeah, Frank Hammer. Kevin Costner. Why'd you go with that name, buddy? He calls him like Comanche or something. It wasn't Comanche.
Comanche.
It was not Comanche.
When I always wanted a dog, I wanted a Dodger. But now that I got a dog, I couldn't call him Dodger.
You don't like the Dodgers, do you?
No, I don't mind the Dodgers.
What's
but,
Kevin Hart's name in Ride Along? Something Black
Have you
Hammer,
seen,
right?
Speaking of,
Yeah, it's just Black Hammer.
Have you seen Ride Along too?
Yeah,
That's an awesome movie.
Yeah, it's
just saw
great.
it for the first time the other day.
yeah. That's the one where he gets married, right?
Yeah, at the very end he gets
Yeah.
married. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's
But how does somebody like Ice Cube?
he's hilarious, dude. When Ice Cube comes over to invite him to go down to where are they going, Atlanta?
Atlanta, yeah.
He's upstairs packing. He's like, "Babe, where's my silver thong?
Where's my silver thong?
I see
can't
yours,
find it.
but I don't find mine."
It was such a good nickname. Now I'm gonna have to find the movie and watch it just to figure out what it was.
Wait, so
But
who-
I can't believe I got Kate to agree to not having like a human nickname. She's like coming up with like Jenny and like Margaret. I'm like, it's a dog.
All right, so clearly she grew up with a dog named a human name.
No, her dog's name was. I actually don't know. You know, it's kind of funny. I had a beagle named Kate. Growing up,
Shut up.
That's
swear
what's
to
wrong.
God.
That's what's wrong.
swear to God, my mom went through this kick where she was like taking in all these pound dogs. But she also hated dogs, so we'd have a dog for like 2 weeks, and she'd get rid of it, and then get another dog,
Does
and then
Kate
get rid of
know
it.
you had a dog named Kate?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would not let that one slide. You know, I owned a beagle with the same name as you, right?
He shit a lot less, though.
He never shit on the coats.
You probably shed less.
She sheds a lot, dude. I used to get so mad at her at the old house. She'd clog up the shower drain all the time.
Yeah.
Dude, at least you can see her hair. Alex's hair is so fucking blonde that sorry. It's like it's invisible.
It's
But it's
invisible.
everywhere.
Oh yeah, you don't see it until your vacuum stops, and you're like, "What? I just bought this vacuum." You flip it over.
It's in my ear,
Yeah, it's like-
my eye.
What happened to the vacuum? It stopped sucking.
I've been in the shower, pulled them out from like my taint. Like,
That's the
how the
thing.
fuck did it even get in there?
She would clog the shower drain so much.
All right, so you had a dog named Kate. You also wait. She had to have a dog named a human name, right?
It was I don't know if it was Bentley or they wanted to call it Bentley, and
Feel
then
like
they
that-
had like a black lab named like Jake.
Bentley's borderline, don't you think?
Bentley's borderline, but it's a car. But who's going to name their
Yeah.
daughter Bentley? Like,
Jake just gets confusing.
it's just something that you'd have like a rapper that would own your daughter because it's a Bentley.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't
My
know.
sister-in-law's cousin's name's Portia.
I
Yeah,
don't-
that's the thing. Like
I'm not down with
they're
that.
calling humans dog names now, though.
well, and
Yeah.
humans' car names.
Yeah. No,
Mercedes and Porsche.
my favorite is Monday, Wednesday. They're doing days of the week now for humans. You didn't hear like the name
Well, yeah,
Wednesday.
isn't that-
Wednesday's
is
like
that
a huge
Jay-Z?
girl's name.
Well, Wednesday was
No,
from.
that's Sunday, isn't it? Kardashian. One of the Kardashians.
One of the Kardashians is directions northwest.
That's right. North and west. There you go. Yeah. We're running out of ideas.
No, we're not. So, an idea for a podcast I was thinking we could do is get together and watch football games and just talk about the football game.
Monday morning quarterback it. Yeah.
Not even try to be like, oh,
How about we podcast pictures of animals and give them names? That could
Yes.
be fun.
Well,
you
I
know?
told Steve earlier what I'd love to do, and I was last night for like an hour watching videos of on YouTube is animals voicing over videos of animals,
Yeah, you could.
We
you
could
get
definitely do
quite
that.
sidetracked.
and I would absolutely.
Well, they
love
do
that.
they do those for the NFL stars. They put like the memes with all the captions.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
they fake their voices on.
Yeah, it's the
ham bone, stank.
NFL. What do they call it? NFL lip
Lip
sync.
syncs.
Yeah,
Lip
yeah,
syncs,
yeah.
Yeah, that's
they're
that's
great.
way too much time. I don't. Have
I
time
haven't
for that,
seen
but-
the new one though,
Oh,
and yeah,
okay.
that one would take for freaking ever because you'd have to go through all the games, all the clips of the games,
Yeah.
pick out shit you want to.
That would take some time.
Or just pick your least favorite people and do it. I mean,
Yeah, I guess.
Joe Rogan was talking about a guy, the Dan Carlin one I'm listening to. Somebody took video, like hours and hours of his video clips, and mashed it into like him basically saying all this like racist and like Nazi type shit. Because if you have like 40 hours worth of like time that you can pull words from, you can make them say anything if you just take words and arrange them the way you want to.
Yeah.
And he had a guy that like had put together an entire show of him like bullshitting about stuff that he never said.
So that's actually like one of the podcasts I'm writing down is like racist podcast because I
You brought up another good point though. I always thought about when I hear some of these stand-up comedians and I don't know their names and they're saying this stuff and I was like, this is not funny. But what if stand-up comedian that I really liked did it? It makes it funny. Doesn't the person make the joke more than half the time?
Yes.
though?
Reputation's huge.
Yeah.
But delivery.
It's
Delivery's
all
big.
about delivery,
Yeah.
man. Because I've tried to. Steve does a lot better job than I do. I've tried to do like, hey, yeah, this bit was super funny, and then I try to say it exactly
Yeah.
the same way.
It doesn't work.
I don't have the timing. I don't have the delivery. I can't do it,
Yeah.
even though I'm saying the exact same words.
there's
It's nonsense.
there's two types of comedy, in my opinion. Is you have the guy who has the voices, like a Jim Gaffigan. If you ever watch Jim Gaffigan, he can do so much with his voice. If this guy says another bacon joke, I'm going to kill him.
He talks
You know.
to himself about himself.
Exactly. So that's hilarious, but you don't need to see it for it to be funny
Right,
because
right.
he's not animated.
And I've even read his book and it was funny.
Yeah, he does it all with his
Yeah.
voice, and the stuff that he talks about and what he says are things that you're like the McDonald's bit. He goes on an 8-minute rant about McDonald's, and everybody can relate to it because you've reached in that McDonald's bag looking for that bonus fry that he calls it, and you're like, oh no, it's straw paper. Nom, nom, nom. Like that's happened to me. That's happened to everybody. So it's funny. But then you get a guy like Kevin Hart. I was watching Kevin Hart's new bit last night. It came out on Netflix. I don't know if you guys saw that,
I
but
didn't watch it yet.
it's not. It doesn't. Again, I'm only like 20 minutes in, so I think it's an hour-long special.
Dude,
but
how
it
do you
doesn't
start something like that and not finish it? I'd have to start it over.
It does. I will, but it doesn't touch his old stuff because like the content and a lot of what he's doing now is like animated. Like he's just doing faces and being funny, and I'm like, if I was listening to this, say like we do on the Comedy Channel, I don't know if I think it's funny. I'd be like,
Well, that's why he has an acting career, because he's animated.
Exactly.
Like, a lot of comedians couldn't necessarily have an acting career based off of the type of comedian they are. Like, I don't really see Joe Rogan as an actor because his comedy isn't animated. It's not. It's about what he's saying and the topics he's approaching.
Did you listen to Joe's special when he had on Dr. Phil?
No.
Yeah,
With Dr. Phil.
with Dr. Phil.
No, I haven't listened to it yet. I've seen
So,
it.
Joe Rogan had a bit where he just blasted Dr. Phil. And apparently Joe Rogan's really good friends with Dr. Phil's son. So, like, that was half the reason I even listened to the podcast, because I'm like, you would think there's no way Dr. Phil didn't hear that bit. And I'm like, did Joe apologize for it? Did Dr. Phil just cool with it? But it was really neat because it gave a whole different light to Dr. Phil that you would think, like, this guy's kind of he's an a-hole. He's Dr. Phil. The Joe Rogan bit's kind of funny. I mean, I've never been a huge Joe Rogan fan because I just don't. He's just not my type of dude. But as a host, I think he's awesome.
Dr. Phil would have to respect that, dude, because all he's doing is a bit, so to speak. He's catering to his audience.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
He's not necessarily believing everything he's saying.
Yeah.
It's all for ratings. It's all for the audience. And so if Joe Rogan's going to make fun of him for it, he probably doesn't take himself any more seriously than...
Does Dr.
Joe
Phil really
does.
listen to Joe Rogan, though? That's another point.
Well, if Joe's friends with his son. Well,
So-
that's a good point, though. Probably not.
The crazy,
I mean, I look at my kids. Would I listen to their friends? Probably not.
but the thing is like, so I got into.
I would hope not at this age.
Well, any
What are
age.
they? 5 and 3, 6 and 3.
Josh's mom's going to listen to this. No, so I had I listened to that podcast, but if you think about it, I mean, obviously Joe Rogan's famous, and probably that bit came out before he even met his son. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Well, and if it's that old, and at the end of the day, I mean, if Dr. Phil's a TV personality, he has to understand that Joe's going to say shit too. Like, end of the day, comedy is just to get a reaction, to get people to laugh.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
if Joe's talking shit on him, it doesn't mean he honestly believes he's a.
Well, and do you
person.
feel like podcasts are kind of like Twitter? Have you guys ever gone on Twitter and searched somebody?
I can't
all the
do it.
negative
We
stuff.
just
that's
too
said.
negative.
talked about
Dude,
Twitter earlier.
I mean, it's crazy. It allows people to say whatever they want and not have any consequences.
well, dude, that's my favorite part about like listening to Joe
Yeah.
Rogan is he gets so many guys on that talk about social media and how it's affecting our society and the world.
Oh, you can
And,
talk about that all day long.
dude,
Oh,
the
yeah.
addiction to it, all that shit, man. And it's giving people a platform that would never say the things
Yeah.
they're saying to somebody's face.
Well, it's giving all these kids false sense of security and like entitlement. That's the big thing is entitlement.
Well, yeah,
because
because they
everybody
can-
entitlement to everything, anything they want.
they can be heard by and responded to
Yes.
by anybody. Like you see, like everybody's always like happy to get retweeted by some famous person. Like you said some fucked
Yeah.
up shit. Like,
yeah.
why are you happy that they retweeted you? You said some
Mm-hmm.
off the wall shit.
Yeah.
Dude, so that like we can segue right into politics with this, which is always an awesome talking point. But the thing that blows my mind is how society in general has switched to the loudest voice, the person who makes the most noise. Like it's like a child. The bigger the temper tantrum, the more of a platform you get, and it blows my mind. And that's why that's why I had to get rid of social media. And it came down to like the start of like the stuff that happened in Ferguson with the police and the riots down in Baltimore. And I was down there for a baseball game.
Weren't we there together?
No, I was down there with Sean McGuire, and
They didn't let you in that one, or
No.
The one they didn't let you in.
no, they wouldn't let us out.
That's what it was.
So we left early and went to Pickles, and they actually like closed the doors to Pickles, like the metal doors that come down so nobody can break in, and locked us in there. They're like, all right, well, and the riots were going on right outside of Pickles, and it's like, it's just nuts how, like I said, the bigger the platform or the more noise you make, and the riots is a different story because it had to do with police riots, but I'm just saying, like, all this stuff that happens now in social media, and like, for instance, there's that woman fighter in MMA. It's a dude. It's a transgender, okay? The transgender powerlifter. I watched the documentary on Netflix. Crazy. This dude was like a renowned, all types of magazine covers. He was sponsored by Muscle Tech, and this dude is jacked. You guys can Google it if you want. I mean, just look up transgender.
I think he'd be upset if you called him a dude.
It's
It's ma'am.
What's the
Yeah.
name? What do you know the name? You
Um,
said, wait, transgender weightlifter?
yeah. Just look up like transgender bodybuilder. Not even that. He does a lot of powerlifting competitions.
Laurel Hubbard?
Oh, no way.
Let's see anything coming up.
Laurel Hubert.
Hubbard. New Zealand?
No, this guy's maybe.
Doesn't sound right.
So my question is, he's a male now or he's a female
All right,
now?
I got it here.
If
out.
Steve's calling him a dude, that means he was born a male, is now identifying.
Oh,
as a
Janae Marie
female.
Kroc.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, here you go. Matt
Yes,
Krokslaski.
from Matt to Jana.
Yes. Jana Marie Kroc, and it's Matt Krokslaski.
And this dude was huge. He's still huge as a chick, like twice my size and is a woman now.
Yeah.
And Justin's back on the phone, man. His 2 seconds. He's just going out of
Squirrel.
the conversation.
Squirrel.
When I get you on an official one of these, I'm not letting you do anything.
I'm out.
There she is. And yeah.
Sean, that might get you in trouble.
Hold on. Let me
It's
see.
a
that.
he and a she.
Can
It's
we
not-
get? Can we
It's
go
true.
back? I
A
want
he and she.
I didn't get a good look at that.
This is what this dude used to look like.
And
A
now she is still competing.
I don't know if this is the same guy, but I think he's trying to do this thing now.
All right.
From the vibe I got from the documentary, he's trying to do this thing where he's starting trans powerlifting competitions.
This is a question, no implications intended, but is there financial gain to winning these competitions? Like, clearly, he could compete in the male circuit, but there's probably stronger people out there. Him switching to the female circuit, is that he's going to win, obviously, but
And is this why he's starting to
like, do you win money winning these events?
Maybe when you get to a certain level, like the strongman competitions, they definitely win money.
But he's just looking to start his own trans league. Is that what you're saying?
It showed him coaching, like, and being a judge, basically. So, like, when you do a powerlifting competition, there's typically lights that go off. So, like, say you're benching and you're looking straight up, and when you bring the weight down, you have to pause, and then they say press. And when they say press, a light also goes off. It's almost like a drag strip, so you know, hey, push. If for whatever reason you can't hear him, so like you wait for press and light, and then you push, right? Same thing with squat. They say squat, press. You know, it's the whole thing. So that's what he was doing. He was the guy who was saying press. You know, which is essentially you're a judge. And he was doing it for a transgender, show. Like, not show, but, I don't know.
So everybody competing was transgender?
From what I gathered, yeah.
So who made it a big deal? Social media, or was it on social media, or where did you hear about it?
It was a Netflix documentary. And then you have this chick in MMA, this Garcia, who was a dude, became a chick, and is just like rolling through this division. And she's pretty jacked.
Yeah, there's
for a chick. But it's like
clear unfair advantage.
Well, at the end of
there.
the day, you got testosterone running through your body. Whether you
Right.
get those nut sacks chopped or not, that's not what It's like that's why they talk about the X and Y chromosome. So it's like
That's my favorite part about this whole discussion is not to get political, but the left love to bring everything back to science when you're talking about climate change and this and that.
Yes.
And anything that's anti-religion or anti the right. But then all of a sudden you start talking about something that's LGBTQFRSP, whatever the hell it is now, and that falls in line with their demographic of supporters,
Exactly.
and all of a sudden science is out the window. We just have to support these people.
and that's
and it makes no sense. You can't toe the line on both sides.
I get how they want.
I'm gonna take a pee. I'll be right back.
I get how they want their, certain rights. But if you're born something and you're getting into a sporting event and something else, doesn't that – there's a reason that we separate men and women in sports, is they're not college athletes. I don't personally care if a woman wants to come into a man's sport, like, so be it.
Nobody